All right. We took a couple days off from this again because the last time we played, I was big sad because we were big bad. And now, hopefully, a few days later, we can actually do something. Please, God, baby Jesus. I did set up the team off stream. We're ready to go for a new season. We are starting to suffer from a shortage of overall players. This is now our catching situation. Of course, we lost Pablo Ramirez in free agency, which blows, but you could argue that Maurice Burnett was a little bit better. So, I mean, we got a couple of people in the mix there. Toki Sato, like, we're looking good. We do still need some depth at the catching position. Jake, hello, by the way. How is your face? Hope it's good. First base, Vince Messer. We have some depth there. We don't really have much to worry about at first base, right? First base is pretty much covered. Second base, Rick Gutierrez is down to an 88, making $26 million for the next 3 years. If that decline continues, he might be DFA'd. We'll see. His stats are down, but his batting was up, so we'll see what happens. We got Ken Hahn behind him. Obviously, we got some prospects there, too. But we could probably use some depth. Nighthawk as well. We're going good. We just started. We haven't been live for that long. Third base, Israel Gutierrez, Joe Dale, Thomas Gaucho. Again, same thing. We could use some third base depth in this upcoming draft, I would say. Shortstop, Hinayosin, McCann. We have plenty of depth there. We don't really have a need at shortstop this year because Tanaka moved over from right field and Milt Martin moved over from third base because found out my ER visits were COVID related. Well, at least you know what it was. Not that that makes it any better. At least you know what it was, though, right? Left field. We still need some outfield depth. It's Reyna Gaudio. We moved Gillespie over from center field because he has all the arm strength of an... what do we want to compare it to? I was going to say all the arm strength of like an... I was going to use the term anthropomorphic, but it's not an animal to say it's a pool noodle. Although, to still use that term, I would trust Paddington Bear to be able to throw a baseball further than Damon Gillespie. So, we'll see what happens. Center field, free toss, DJ Liss, Reggie Moeller, who has a cannon of an arm, poolomorphic. There you go. That's the way. That is the way. And then right field, Ivan Pena is going to take over. He has just 112 career games. He's never been a starter. But at 30 years old, your time is now, sir. Your time is now. Starting pitching-wise, we have a bunch of high-rated players who are probably going to suck because that has been the story of the Pittsburgh Pirates. Please, God, start pitching to your ability. Please. Please, God. And we could use some general pitching depth. Nothing too crazy. Obviously, the bullpen has gotten significantly younger over the past few years. Like Howie Galloway is gone now too. Let's go over to this one here, just to show you guys how the bullpen is set up. Some lower overalls, some younger players, but hey, at least Boone Smooth's there. Gary Dixon's going to start off as our long reliever, even though he was our best pitcher last year. Just because I need these guys to prove themselves, and if they can't, I mean, even though we have contract control, Jesus, why would we keep you? So, we're going to have to promote. It just means human like a human form. So saying he's got the strength on perfect. Cool. Pool Noodle Jones over here. And we have no better scouts that we can get. Good to know. Well, what about you? No, you're not better than who we already have. Top prospects list. We still have the best prospect in baseball, Yusnel Espinoza. Hopefully our hero, Chad Jones, is there too in the top 5. The fact that Espinoza is higher rated than Buster Pena is hilarious to me. Showtime. What's going on? We do have other prospects. Ozzie Esposito, the reliever. Albert Awardekemper, the 23-year-old outfielder. Eddie McCann as a starter. Hendricks as a starter. Mesa as a catcher. Oh my God, can we win something? Please, God, let it happen. Let this be the year. Jesus. Jesus, Mary, and Hosa. It's playing DJ Liss at center over Tim Cohen. To be honest, I'm okay with this. AAA, we can't guarantee that everyone's in, but that's okay. Have I finally figured out drafting? I have consistently drafted the best class year after year. It just hasn't meant anything. Let's see. We have the 9th pick in the... Ooh, the 9th pick in the draft. I didn't realize we were that bad. 9th pick and then 2 picks, 30 selections apart, but technically in round 2. Kyle Dubas Simulator. That's, yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Okay. We need catching depth, second base, third base, outfield, and pitching depth. Let's go ahead and try this strategy. I do not know if this will work because I don't think we're going to have enough time, but I am going to try this and do the general scouting first and then try to find the best of the best after that. That is the goal. AA does not have enough pitchers. Fuck. Let's sign some free agents then, shall we? Shall we? 2, 3, 4. We were the best team in baseball for 1 year. We were. Let it be known. At one point in time, we were the best team in baseball. And then like 3 years later, we missed the playoffs. Isn't it lovely? Oh, now they have too many pitchers. You're hot and you're cold. You're yes and you're no. I listened to that song on the radio driving home today. We're 7-1 to start the season. Please, God, let this be the year. We need some second base depth. So let's see if we can find a good second baseman or 2 or 7. Please. Just beat the Cardinals 12-0. That's always nice. Always nice beating the Cardinals. All right, second base, we need East and International. Then we need third base depth. When do you head to Finland next? In a little bit over a month. How stupid is that? It'll be my 3rd time in Finland in a year. It's fucking wild. Fucking wild. I'm far enough away from it that my anxiety over flying hasn't spiked yet. It will. Even though it is what it is. As I've discovered about said flight anxiety, once I'm on the plane, I'm fine. But until then, my brain will shout at me that I'm going to die. So that's fun. That's always fun. All right, let's scout out the rest of these third basemen. 17-5. When are we going to collapse? It happens every year. How much longer can I take this, Mac? We're going to find out. We're going to find out, damn it. The answer might not be too much longer if this team keeps breaking my heart. So, we'll see. Let's go left field west. I really wish outfield positions were not individual. I really do. Left field west, left field central, left field east. And then we're going to try to do some general scouting with pitchers. And hopefully we have enough information to have ourselves a good draft. 24-10. We're going to collapse. At some point, it's going to happen. And you could say I'm trying to speak it into existence to be correct, but no, we've learned our lesson. We have learned our lesson, damn it. So, oh boy, we're going to collapse at some point, probably September. World Para Hockey Championships are in Saskatoon, May 28th to June 4th. Ooh, Wheels, that sounds awesome, actually. I've always enjoyed watching it when I've had the ability to. It's just obviously really limited opportunities to watch the sport. All right, so we go right field west to move on. As a hardcore Pirates fan, this is our year. Oh, goodness. Let's hope. Let's hope. All right, our final non-pitching scouting. We'll have to get the pitchers in there. So we won't have too much time. We won't have too much time to work out anything else. It's week 9 of 14. So technically, so that's 1 week. 1, 2, 3, 2 weeks. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We might just have to avoid pitchers for the moment. I think we might have to. I think we got to look at position players primarily. And then maybe we take some random outfield depth afterwards. Let's see who's out there. Yeah, so there are some catchers who might be half decent. Maybe just avoid closers. Well, this could be a pretty good draft for catchers. I mean, this guy looks like he has a good potential, but his overall is so low at his age that it's telling me to outright avoid. But there are these guys at the top who are still 65s and such. It'd be nice to know. First base, I mean, fuck. I was going to say, if there's a generational talent, it would be nice. Oh, my God. Okay, new approach. We need to have as much information on first baseman as we can have. New approach. Because, again, we added the ability for me to move people to different positions to better optimize them out of pure desperation. We will not have the most information on players. But we need to know who's out there. We're going to go second base and shortstop as well. Just to fully scout out every position, we'll have to leave pitching out of the equation. When the hell is this team going to collapse? I am not buying into a 9.5 run lead. I am not buying into that. I refuse to believe. Absolutely refuse to believe. There's just no way we're going to be that good. There's no way. AJ, what's up? I'm doing good. Let's go shortstop west. There we go. That works. We'll round out second baseman. Go with the shortstops next. There's no way we're going to be this good by the end of the year. We have seen this team blow it too many times. So yeah, this will not be a year. We'll have 2 weeks to scout whoever we think will be the best of the best to try and get 9th overall. Which means we don't have time to scout out any pitchers. So in terms of team rank, our scouts really like these closers. I'm not worried about them. They really like second baseman Carlos Hernandez. Like a lot. Center fielder Robert Tatum. So yeah, we're not going to worry about pitchers. Let's look at Carlos. Let's look at Robert Tatum. And second base. Ooh, another Oliver Perez to Pittsburgh. I'd be down. I'd be down. I've spoken about my love for Oliver Perez. He's one of my favorite players for no reason. He really was. Whew. Okay. All 3 of those guys are legit. And all of them are expected to be late first round or worse. Interesting. You'd like to think one of the 3 will land for us at 9. There's a shitload of pitchers in this draft. A shitload. This is such a pitching heavy draft. Oh my God. Okay. Really quickly, I have to find the 3 players that we don't have as much info on that I think could be the 3 best players of this draft. So we got York as a right fielder, 67 to 98 listed potential at the moment. That sets the bar. Center field, we already know about Tatum. There's another 67 to 98, Eldridge Santo, which is a tremendous, tremendous name. Do we have anybody else? Shout out to Richard Head. Bobby Hill! Dang it, Bobby. 67 to 98 as well for Bobby Hill. 76 to 92 for we might take that guy later on. It's telling me not to draft him because his overall might suck, but we'll get more information on him later. In left, Edgar Guevara. We'll have to take a look at him. So that's 67 to 98, and then 45 to 76, which is ridiculous. Decent song, don't want it. All right, so back over to center field. We have Santo, who has a just fucking gigantic range of 39 to 70. Dang it, Bobby. 28 to 59. Ugh. But notice any pattern guys who opt out of the doctor exam? Not really, aside from, you know, their durability ends up being lower, but I've yet to see that be this gigantic issue. So, all right, so we had Guevara in left. There's Russell Crosby, but we got to aim higher than that. Holy 67s to 98s. All right, we have McKinney in left field, 67 to 98, 39 to 70 is their overall range. There's Patrick Ramirez, another 67 to 98, 37 to 68 on the overall range. There's Carlos Bonilla. Whew. As hot as other ASMR. Hey, number 1, true. 2, hell of a time for a typo. What do we have for Bonilla? He might be worth finding out full information on, to be honest. He might be. He might be. God, then there's Salazar. What the hell is this draft? What the hell is this draft? What the hell are we going to do? Again, we have to knock every freaking draft out of the park. Just in case the team finally starts to shit the bed. And we have to do like a mini rebuild. I am Frederick Glass. Mr. Glass. I am... also, sorry, I'm completely ignoring the chat at the moment. I've also come to terms with the fact that I will probably have to partake in a mini rebuild here. We'll see what's up. Oh, goodness. I mean, AJ, people are going to be shitty. It's a retool. That's the way. Third base. Terrence Boyle. And there's Enrique Palacios that we could look at later on, but he looks terrible. There's the second baseman that we already looked at, including Jermaine Rios. And I think Jermaine Rios is instantly at the top of our list for let's look at this guy to find out a little bit more. I cannot see my goddamn numbers behind my microphone. I hate it. 93. William Chan as well, but it's telling me not to look at this guy. Why? Why would it tell me not to look at this guy when he looks awesome? First base, 77-93 for Irizarry. 66-97 for Nunn. 73-94 for Guevara. It'd be nice to know more about him. Be really nice to know more about him. All right, we're going to have to make a decision here because I already have 4 players on the list. What do we have for Guevara? 73-94, 39-60 overall. And there's Roberts projected to be taken well earlier. The problem is he's 23, so I believe it. And then there are some catchers who could be half decent, including Charles Michie. There's also Rich Torres, who does look really good. Kind of. Looking here. Let's go for Jermaine Rios at second base. Guevara
walk through this fucking grass
at first. And left fielder Bonilla. So first, second, and left. Perfect. Let's find out if we can have a good draft, and let's find out if this team can somehow keep up this winning record. The new follow sound. It's great, isn't it? Did it pop up properly? I totally missed it. For whatever reason, I actually couldn't hear it. It did. Cool. With the GIF and all. Was it too loud? Was it fine? I don't know why I couldn't hear it. I have my monitor on for the alerts. Huh. I mean, endos, unfollows and refollows don't work. All right, let's go ahead and save. Let's go ahead and save. It's also random. It doesn't pop up every time. All right, the draft. The draft. 20. I am in the 2043 draft. Fuck's sake. All right, we have quite a few players that we're looking at, none of which I can sit here and say with like certainty we absolutely desperately need. But there are some players who look pretty damn good. Carlos Hernandez, Oliver Perez, Jermaine Rios, Brian Irizarry, Milwaukee. The Brewers have the #1 pick. And the Brewers select second baseman Carlos Hernandez. That dream did not last very long. Projected 31st. It turns out it wasn't just our scouting department that found out he is fantastic. So that sucks. That sucks a lot. Oh, a lot. Really would have been nice to end up with that guy. There goes the first baseman, Guevara. He's off to Philadelphia. Never mind the left fielder. So there are 2 Guevaras. We were looking at that guy, too. That's not good. That's not good. Although the more of our options that go off the board, we just pick what, we're dealt. Minnesota! Take starting pitcher David Lilly. Projected 8th. So yeah, the first baseman is gone. Second baseman's gone first. There we go. We still got a few players on the list. 9th pick. Texas took center fielder Robert Tatum. I am very upset. Because he is about a guaranteed B potential and about a guaranteed 70 overall player. San Diego takes left fielder Jack McKinney. So far, there's one player who was projected in the top 5 that's actually gone. The Boston Red Sox take Freddie Mejia. Or Mejia, perhaps. Why is the answer? Stephen Park, right fielder's off to the Chicago White Sox. And the Atlanta Braves take starting pitcher Ricky Parnell. So that will leave us quite a few options. It does leave us second baseman Oliver Perez. Again, we're avoiding pitchers, at least in this first round, because there were so many of them this year. There was Terrence Nunn, who was a gigantic risk. He is. We don't know much about him. You could say, well, I mean, we know above. Well, we don't know none about Terrence. Okay. Anyway, there's the other second baseman, Jermaine Rios. Brian Irizarry at first base. Russell Crosby in left. You got Thomas Benson at center. Boyle. More risky players. Got Dave Goodson. Another catcher that's a bit of a risk. Okay. It's one of these four. Crosby, 75-91 versus Irizarry, 77-93. We know just as much about them. It's certainly Irizarry over Crosby. I mean, if the attributes are correct about Irizarry, he'd be a hell of a pick. Not that Crosby looks bad, and he's also very fast, as you can see there in the bottom right, but Rios, attributes are rough. Attributes are very rough, but 76-95. 59-75. Honestly, I think I'd go for Irizarry over Rios. The only benefit to Rios is that he's a younger player. Was he 4 years younger? Yeah. 59-75. So, I mean, all it is just that Jermaine Rios is a bit more of a project, which isn't inherently a bad thing. But then there's Oliver Perez, 75-94, 48-67. His attributes aren't that insane. That is true that Irizarry has 40. Rios does have the 80, though, as does Perez. So, I mean, you can make the argument for Rios. You know, you could view the extra scouting as like, well, you know for a fact he's more likely to be that potential versus, well, you know for a fact his attributes are actually probably that bad. Perez, I've been burned by second baseman before. Andy Holland. His overall range is not that much higher than Rios. And Rios's potential range is technically better. But then there's Irizarry, who we know is older. But he has the highest overall range of the bunch, kind of. I mean, if it's closer to a 59 instead of 75, that's pretty rough. It's got to be one of the two second basemen. I'm going to trust our scouts on this one that it is, in fact, Oliver Perez that we would want. I'm going to trust him. Oliver Perez Jr. makes his way to Pittsburgh. And we will hope that that is not a terrible decision, but based off of what we knew, it doesn't look like it should be. I am going to skip to the rest of the first round, get to pick number 46, where left fielder Russell Crosby is still available. Kansas City rounded out the top 10. Terrence Nunn went off the board. A lot of second-round projected players. This dude was projected beyond 100. A lot of second-round projected players went in the first round. Irizarry went to the Mets. Yeah. Okay, who's still available here? So there are some relievers who were projected in the first round. Dan Tackett, Vinny Benitez. Kenny Vaughn is a starter. A lot of relievers. What about for position players that we actually have info on? So Crosby is there. You got Eldridge Santo, who's a bit more of a risk. A shortstop in Michael Costa that we don't know anything about. Sherman at center. Patrick Ramirez in left is a bit of a risk. There's a lot of pitchers in this draft. I'd like to think someone will fall to us with the 76th pick. I'd like to think. Crash Andrews, you beautiful man. How'd the stream go? I hope the stream went well, sir. Boy, imagine if Fallon Williams is actually good. Imagine. Ray Bork. What about him? The DUI on his record. Okay, if we're taking a position player here, it's either Crosby, who's at 40%, or Santo or Ramirez, who are at 20. Overall ranges are about the same. They're both younger. Crosby's 21. Overall range is significantly higher. Good contact, good speed. I'm thinking Crosby. Right? I'm thinking Crosby here. Unless we wanted to take one of the pitchers that we don't know much about just to hope for the best. But honestly, I don't think we have to risk it. We can have a pitching-heavy draft next year. Let's go for outfielder Russell Crosby. Let's do it. As we will select him here in the second. Come on down, Mr. Crosby. Very Pittsburgh-centric draft so far. With an Oliver Perez and now a Crosby. Okay, we have the final pick of competitive balance round B. All of those relievers are pretty much off the board. There's Ray German that we don't know enough about. There is second baseman, Cesar Ramirez, who, Just looking at these potential ranges here. Christopher Fernandez as a starter looks a little bit more promising based off of what we know about him. There's Jeff James as a catcher. Got Ruben Landis. We don't know too much about Teddy Stoddard. Doesn't look that good. Eddie York. Oh boy, Tim Metz. Outside chance of being a B. I don't think we'll take him now, but he could be a pick later on. There's Jim Wise, who might be a bit of a steal. Then you get Bonilla, who is rather interesting. 64 to 98. 64 to 95. Robert Stark. You got Giancarlo Salazar. Bobby Hill. Dang it, Bobby. We'll have to look at him in a little bit. Chris Osborne at first. Got McLeod at shortstop. Frederick Glass at shortstop. We have options as this draft goes on. It's just a matter of taking the right players at the right time. Got Antonio Guevara, so that first baseman. He's got an outside shot of being a B, but that's pretty risky. I mean, so does Todd Ladd, for that matter. Okay. Got a minute 45 here. Honestly, if we were to take a pitcher, now would be the time to take Christopher Fernandez. Unless we had faith in Cesar Ramirez, which, There's Jeff James at catcher. We do need some catching depth. There's Landis. Eddie York's a shot in the dark. Can't take Tim Metz this early. Jeff Wise. And then Bonilla's projected a little bit from now. Our next pick is actually 85th, so we can probably double dip here. I think if we go for Fernandez and then Bonilla in the next round, we'll be looking pretty good. And hopefully Bobby Hill's available. If not, we'll look at someone like McLeod. So let's see if we can double dip here. Let's take the one starter from this draft that I can have some confidence in. And we will go for Christopher Fernandez with this pick. And hope like hell he is actually closer to a B than a C. And thankfully, who we wanted is still on the board. Let's go for left fielder. Our second outfielder of the draft. Happy Bonilla Day, everybody. Carlos Bonilla. And let's hope that overall is not as bad as it looks like it could be. All right, Tim Metz is off the board. Guevara's off the board. All right, who do we have left? So there's Jim Wise, 67 to 95. Carlos Bobby Bonilla. We probably will rename him too. Okay, we're looking at like 20% scouted for all of these guys. 80 to 94, 76 to 90. 76 to 90. It's not bad. If we go off the top of the board. Robert Stark, Salazar, Bobby Hill. There's McLeod at shortstop. We're picking 116. McLeod might make it to the next round. We have 3 picks left. McLeod and then Floyd and Hebert to round it out. Do we risk it on McLeod? Just hope that potential is accurate. I didn't need a depth shortstop, but he could be moved to third base. No, we only got 3 picks left. Let's go for McLeod at shortstop. Let's do it. Let's do it. Don't know how to feel about it. But let's do it. I know he's listed as injured, but I'm not too worried. Okay, never mind. I was going to say, like, did every player just disappear? No, they did not, thankfully. Let's go for the relievers here because we do need to rebuild the bullpen a little bit. We'll go for Billy Floyd first because he does look to be the more promising of the two. Did we have a good first rounder? We'll find out. We did have the 9th pick. And Jim Wise, who our scout said should have been 114. MLB said unranked is still available at 175. So we might have just had this guy fall into our lap in round 6. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. It has all the promise of a good draft. With 56 wins, we are currently the best team in baseball. Let's see how quickly this all falls apart, huh? As is tradition.